The Path of Life by Dr. Dennis V. Burke. Published by 4815 Publishers. Fluid ideas. If you can imagine it, it is already here. Any innovation we conceive will be the result of synthesis. We dissect knowledge and reassemble the parts into new and innovative ideas. In reality, everything we need is here with us at all times. We are in the presence of all the love we desire, all of the pain and hate we fear, our successes and failures. Nothing under the sun is totally new. Therefore, the things we discover, abandon, and embrace are the reflections of who we were, are, and can be. Our innovative ideas are the products of our brains. They represent our experiences, imagination, focus, and expectations. Our needs flow out of potential, and the latent qualities of the healthy brain are limited only by the capacity, courage, and discipline we bring into practice. Health is the state of being free from illness or injury in physical and mental emotional conditions. Ideal health can be depicted within the nexus of diet, exercise, and rest. Diet includes nutritional, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual intakes. Exercise includes physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual practice and discipline. Rest represents physical, emotional, and mental breaks and recuperation. Capacity constitutes the maximum measure we can contain and produce. Therefore, we can understand and produce only the amount of anything that is enabled by our inherent capacity. Ideas are like building a cathedral and require a foundation for stability. The brain is the builder and must have valid understanding of relevant principle to produce workable designs. Capacity is dynamic and reflects the fluid ability of our intelligence. Intelligence is multifaceted. Within the context of the brain's and subconscious operations, our ability to innovate is itself fluid and not the result of deliberate choice. The fluidity of the subconscious brain operates within a system that aggregates data from all aspects of human health, physical and mental emotional. Knowledge results from studying and disciplined consumption of principles. Wealth is produced by the accumulation of the returns from the factors of production. Human beings are complex systems. Our biology represents systems within systems. Each being functions as a building block within an ever-expanding system. Each person is a contributing member of the systems, and we are faced with choices about our roles. Do we contribute more or less than we consume? To consume more than we contribute means we are reduced to the parasito's level of existence. Being average requires little effort. All one has to do to be average is nothing, and the result will be marginal. Spend most of your time consuming watching exemplars on TV, gossiping, hoping without effort, and talking without doing, instead of producing, and the results are guaranteed. We are the masters of our choices and the captains of our ships. The consequences of our choices are like the oceans on which ships sail. Similarly, principles are the unchanging governing factors of life. The consequences of our behaviors are external to our decisions, and they are inseparable. Courage and discipline represent the lighthouse and its beacon. Whenever we are guided by the beacon from the lighthouse, it is much easier to navigate treacherous waters safely. If we reimagined the scales of measurement for achievement, would it affect our level of motivation? Consider exceptional achievement as simply successful, success as average, and average as failing. Would this change to our system of value alter our approach and sense of self and motivation? We all have inherent biases, and most of them are subtle and subconscious attitudes. The nature of our biases is such that they manifest in our lives as self-evident truths about diverse topics. Politics and religion are two areas where we have self-evident truths. We know this based on our dogmatic adherence to whatever we believe. Because we believe something does not make it a truth. People can be sincerely wrong. Healthy human beings share a common trait. Regardless of where we are in life's journey, our background, education, and cultural experiences, people seek significance and purpose. People's potential flows from a center of tabula rasa, void of conditional biases. The tabula rasa is void of conditional value but full of desire for betterment. Untainted human beings are full of the desire to have personal significance and be relevant. In other words, each healthy human being desires to find a meaningful purpose to pursue. Without conditioning and the awareness of social needs, each person might still ask himself or herself this question: why am I here? The follow-up question might be, what should I be doing? We instinctively seek purposes in our lives. This purpose and our search might be the meaning for human existence. We search because it is our nature to seek answers. Every time we find the answer to a question, we ask another. What we achieve from life is directly related to the quality of the question we ask. Hence, how we frame questions affect how we think about the solution and approach the completion. Framing and reframing are significant to the experiences we create for our lives. Instead of asking what the issue is, we might ask what should be happening. The subtle shift in focus has an immense effect on how the brain processes and resolves challenges. When we ask what should be happening, we are envisioning the solution or the ideal state. Conversely, when we ask questions about the issues or the problems that perplex us, we are creating invisible mental hurdles. In the pursuit of solutions, the goal and subject of focus must be the ideal state. The hurdles must be reduced to necessary obstructions on the path to achieving a purpose. Each hurdle we cross can serve as a stimulus of growth. Getting to the solution becomes much easier whenever we mentally and emotionally synchronize to the ideal end state. When one convinces self of finding a true calling, one inevitably evolves and begins to ask new questions in the unfathomable quest for more answers. This is simply who we are when we are at our best. We are wired to be seekers of solutions and builders of a grand civilization. We have conflict only because some people have incomplete knowledge about who they are and what role they can play to be relevant and significant. In the places where gaps of knowledge exist, the brain synthesizes emotional and spiritual mystiques. Now we ask questions that are incomplete, we seek and select solutions that are faulty, and we construct temples on weak foundations. With faulty and incomplete knowledge we adopt unhealthy dogmas. We practice hate and divisiveness. Because of incomplete and faulty knowledge we constantly create the things we say we want to avoid. Our species inevitably become weaker each successive generation. Unless we reflect and study, unless we practice the principles we know and open ourselves to learning from the principles, we invariably stray from the path of life.